What did you want to be?
Time for you to look inward and begin asking yourself the big questions. Who are you? And what do you want?
You should be the hero in your own story. You should see yourself conquering, the dramatic action of whatever you're trying to do.
I'm your host, Tinom Tapati, and welcome to the SOS Podcast. Welcome back to the SOS Podcast. I'm so grateful for you guys tuning in. You could literally be anywhere on the internet, but you chose to be right here listening to this episode, and I just appreciate you guys so much. So today's topic is purpose, and purpose is something that I find to be absolutely important. It's one of the reasons why I started this podcast, because without purpose, you cannot become the hero that you're meant to be. Another definition of purpose is mission. And you can't be a hero without no mission. Like, you actually need to have a mission to undertake, to execute, to complete as a hero, And I've been very fortunate enough to come into contact with someone who articulates purpose so well. He's just an all-around great guy, very knowledgeable on the subject matter. But before we get to my discussion with today's guest, I wanted to share with you guys a study from the Journal of American Medical Association Current Open. And the study revealed that people who didn't have a strong life purpose, defined as a self-organizing life aim that stimulates goals, that stimulates goals, were twice as likely to die than those who did, and specifically to die of cardiovascular diseases. Twice as likely to die, guys. That's insane. This association between a low level of purpose remained true despite how rich and poor the participants were, despite their gender, despite how educated they were. It doesn't make sense when you're hearing it, but the more you sit down and think about it, the more you realize how necessary purpose is psychologically for us as human beings. And purpose is actually the number one psychological need. A purpose, a life purpose. That is number one. It's crazy. So my hope for today's episode is to get you to not only realize the importance of purpose, but to give you the spark and drive to define and connect to your purpose. There's a quote that reads, "Purpose is something for which one is responsible." And I think that's where most of us get it messed up. We think that purpose is just handed to us on a silver platter. And it's never the case. I was watching Tehn Diamond's a series on purpose, and he said something that I resonated with a lot. He said, God would never rob you of the hard work required for you to get to your purpose, to get there, to discover your mission. And the word choice was particularly interesting to me because rob. So if it means that if we knew from day one, from the get-go, what our purpose was, you wouldn't work for it. It wouldn't be so special, and it would be a crime if you had all the answers even before you even got out there to experience, to learn about yourself, to go inside yourself, to define it, So without wasting any more of your time, let's just jump into the conversation with the awesome Tehn Diamond. My guest today is the ultimate fusion of inspiration and aspiration, the Fresh Prince of Purpose, Mr. Tehn Diamond, an award-winning rapper, actor, motivator, and entrepreneur, just to mention a few. Dude, welcome to the show. You're a phenomenal human being, a lyrically gifted spiritual individual.
Wow.
Thanks so much for making the time, man. Like, I thought you inspired me in Cook Off, but after I stumbled upon your IG series, it's just been electric.
Wow.
So Thank you, man.
Dude, thank you so much for having me. Thank you so much for that incredible intro. I'm feeling like a superhero right now.
You're already charged up.
Yeah, I'm feeling like a superhero right now. Thank you.
Just make sure you strap on the cape, the cowl. Spandex is optional. Spandex is optional. That's awesome, man. So, uh, like I said, I stumbled upon your IG series where you spoke about purpose, and that really hit home with me and the concept of this podcast.
Hmm.
And one of the many things that I loved about the IG series is how you actually define purpose. It's so powerful. And for the sake of the listeners, I'm not going to say it and risk butchering it because I don't remember it verbatim, but instead have them hear it from the
Wait,
horse's mouth.
I define purpose so many different ways depending on the episode. So maybe you hit me with the one that you, even if you butcher it a bit, then I'll clean it up. I'll come in and clean it up.
Okay, it's the one where purpose paints pictures.
Oh, okay.
And uh, purpose paints pictures, and the picture that purpose paints
Is
is
your
the vision.
vision?
And
Yeah.
exactly that lights me up. I was like,
Nah,
oh,
you've got it. You've got it.
mic
You've
drop.
got it. Like, okay, it happens to be one
Yeah.
of the things that I believe about purpose. I believe
Mm,
a great many
mm,
things about purpose, but one of the core things for me is that, look, purpose purpose paints pictures, and the
mm,
picture that purpose
mm,
paints for each of us is the vision that we have for our lives. I'll maybe go a bit further and just expand on that. On the one side, purpose is the why of our identity. Like, who am I? Why am I here? And then that vision, that picture that purpose paints is the why of our destiny or our destination. Where am I going? What am I here to do? That kind of thing. And in between there, that is your mission or the how or the path
uh-huh.
or the hero's
Ooh,
journey.
the hero's journey.
Yeah.
Oh, oh man, you know what I'm talking about. I love that so much. And you said something about you just said that who are you? And which is coincidentally um, the intro to this podcast for at least episode 4 and 5, because that I changed the intro after episode 3.
Yeah.
And I don't know if you were an Avatar Last Airbender fan. I was. I loved it.
Ah,
And one of
dude.
my
My
favorite characters was Uncle Iroh. And that was actually Uncle Iroh's voice in the audio.
Oh wow. My youngest brother was actually watching I think no, both of my youngest brothers have been watching Avatar: The Last Airbender today.
Mm, 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 mm.
Yeah,
We actually need it in this
it's so
crazy time that we're
crucial.
in. Yeah. You know, I watched it back then, but I usually watch it now when I'm about to have exams or during exams because, it kind of eases the pressure.
Yeah,
And looking at it now with new eyes, the show just has a completely different meaning. It's insane. That
yeah.
it's actually deeper than I thought it was back then. But
De-
I'm glad I'm rediscovering
Definitely
it.
very layered. I enjoyed it so much. Um, so they're like my brothers are watching the movie, but
Mm.
I
Ah,
yeah, I got onto the actual animated series first.
mm.
That was
uh,
like that's my jam.
thank God, because anyone who saw the movie, they usually like the movie leaves a bad taste in your mouth because it wasn't done well. Let's just be honest. It
Yeah,
for
but
me it
also we came from the animation, and the animation was
mm, mm, mm. It was just too good for words. Too good for words, man. So, in your definition of purpose, well, in your many definitions, um, you also mentioned something about how we should not die empty.
Yeah,
That we should
we
die
should
empty,
die
right?
empty, or we
Exactly.
should strive to die empty.
Mm. So, for the sake of the listeners, just elaborate on that because
Like
they're not part of the tribe yet.
essentially, yet I like that. I believe like none of us comes to Earth empty, right? I mean, none of us comes to Earth
Mm,
empty. We come to Earth filled with purpose, and if you can picture purpose as like a seed, right? But
mhm,
every fruit doesn't have just the one seed in it. Oh wait, no, some fruits do have one seed. Okay, let me think of like an
mm,
orange with many seeds in it.
mhm.
That's the same
Thought you were gonna go for watermelon,
with
but
our
okay.
watermelon, even more seeds. Can we wait? Let's go pawpaw,
Oh man,
or
yeah.
papaya.
I think pop was the limit. I don't
Wait,
know
wait,
any
wait.
other
What
fruit
about
with seeds.
strawberry? Are those
Blueberries.
things seeds around a
Seeds?
strawberry?
I think they kind of count as seeds, though.
Strawberry or a pawpaw, many seeds, guys.
Yeah, many seeds.
we come to
Basically, yeah.
Yeah, we come to the planet as pawpaws, and
Love it.
each of those seeds inside of us is a potential purpose or a portion of our potential purpose, and I feel like it's our
Mm.
responsibility to strive to die with all those seeds outside of us, empty of seed
Mm.
at least, and having planted those different shades of purpose in our lives, in other people's lives, and in the world.
Mm. Mm. That's so powerful, man. And actually, that your definition of like we should die empty also reminds me of the late great Chadwick Boseman's quote. And I actually discovered this quote after his death, and that's a shame. But he said, "When I stand before God at the end of my life, I should hope that I would not have a single bit of talent left and say I used everything you gave me." Which is, when you use your talent, it could be tied to your purpose,
Yeah,
and you don't want to go with it full.
yeah.
You don't want to go to God with a full tank.
You wanna go to him empty and be like, look, I finished my food,
I finished.
and
Give me some more.
I
What's
shared some with
next?
some others as well.
Yeah,
Yeah.
and that's the point. Your purpose. I think. Oh, forgive me. I haven't revisited this verse in a long time, but in the Bible it says something about how God gives you gifts and talents,
Yeah.
not for your own benefit, but for you to be a blessing to somebody else. So bless me to bless somebody else. That's just how people should do it.
Exactly. Like and lately I've been saying this a lot in
Mm.
our daily kind of Instagram live
Mm.
sessions with the tribe.
Mhm.
I've been saying
Yeah.
like, look, in the Old Testament, God might have come down personally himself with like an being flanked by like an angel or two, and like gotten some stuff done, like maybe come down himself and wrestle with Jacob personally, and like, or
Like,
he'd
let's go, baby boy.
yeah, or like send like a pillar of fire or a pillar of smoke to guide the Israelites through Egypt. And then, New Testament, he's like, I'm, Dachembere, I'm getting a little old. Let me send out
Mm.
Jesus. Jesus comes down and does the things. In the times that we live in right now, like God is working through us. Yeah, God has to work through us. And
Mm.
it's up to us to tap into what we can, the best of ourselves. And like you said, to be able to be a blessing for others and to allow God to work through us, through our purpose, through our gifts, through our passions, through our talents.
Mm.
But it's,
Mm.
it's a journey of self exploration and discovery.
That is so true, man. And I think that's why I love being part of your tribe and catching those early morning sessions.
Wait,
It's
being part of
because,
our tribe, that's our tribe. That's us. That's our
well, our tribe. Thank you,
Yeah,
man.
I am a part of
Multitasking,
our
nice.
I am a part of our tribe.
I love that so much. I've just been inaugurated. Like, I've been nominated. I've been, like, this is a promotion. Uh, so what I was trying to get at was it's important because life is so busy, um, and you can get so distracted that you forget to actually sit down and think about your purpose, or actually give time to really,
Be
do
still
some
and
meditation.
know.
Yeah, exactly. There
Yeah.
you go. There you go with the verses. And so the other thing I wanted to ask you is, so as a papaya, because you said we come to this
Or a strawberry,
world as
depending on
as
whether
so
those are
strawberry,
seeds.
depending on what your thing is, and you've got many seeds. So
Yeah.
basically, my understanding is that we don't have a purpose, but we have purposes, purpose,
Papaya?
what purpose?
Papayas?
Like, because octopus is octopi, so I was like,
No, I'm with you.
nah,
I'm with you.
I,
English is
I,
strange, bro. Sometimes
yeah,
there's a
English
rule,
is
sometimes
crazy.
there isn't. Yeah, yeah,
Dude, there's an exception all the time.
yeah. No, I'm with you.
Mm.
Wait, did you finish getting the question out? Sorry.
Yeah, so is it purposes? So can we just
Yeah,
safely
purposes.
say that we don't have a single purpose?
I don't believe that we have a single purpose. We may have a single
Mm.
like ultimate purpose, but for like, man, the different stages of your life, the different
Mm.
stages of knowing and understanding not just yourself, but understanding the world and all these
Mm.
things. I feel like our purpose evolves as we grow and change and evolve as well. I think what doesn't change is God's ultimate purpose, which I don't know if we can fully know it or understand it, but I definitely feel and know that we are a part or have a part to play in that ultimate purpose. So yeah, I think the smaller per pie, they they change, they fluctuate, with the conditions and who we are and what we learn of ourselves. But um, I almost like to think of it sometimes as like an onion. It's got different layers to it, depending on what stage of your life you're in, what you've experienced, what you've given yourself time to reflect on and process as well will color your um your perception of your purpose. Because one of the things I believe, like I'm against this idea of people saying like you go out into the world to discover your purpose, to find your purpose. I wholeheartedly believe that the mission is to go inside of yourself and define your purpose. And what I like about defining your purpose is that it gives you puts the power back in your hands. Like stop overthinking and worrying so much. Get something down, write it down, define it, and then go out in the world and test that out and see how true that is. And don't be afraid to adjust accordingly. Don't be afraid to to take a step back accordingly, or don't be afraid to pick up the pace a little bit if you feel like you're onto something. Like we are built to know and understand these things. Like we have our five senses, but we also have that intuition, that whatever you want to call it, like God's voice, the Holy Spirit, whatever you want to call it, we also have another other something that lets us know. You know what I mean? Yeah, that the spidey sense that lets us know, that lets us
Man,
know.
you've got more superhero references than me.
Uh,
I should have a counter. I love
it lets us know that we're like, yo, this is for me or this is not for me. And I think sometimes we we don't do the greatest job of keeping that little voice healthy, so to speak, or tuning into that, yeah, tuning into that voice consistently and trusting that voice, or building it up so that we can trust that voice. So yeah.
That is powerful, man. Like that, I've always, understood purpose as, go discover your purpose. But when you mentioned that on uh, your IG live, it blew my mind. Like the concept literally blew the door clean off its hinges of the idea that purpose is something that you have to go out and discover.
Yeah, man,
And that is so powerful.
I think that this thing of like go out and discover your purpose, I think it's so cruel and so heavy, bruh. Like that's a lot of responsibility and that's a lot of pressure. And like, when are you gonna ever like? It makes out there or outside such a daunting place, and I think it can easily lead to a lot of guilt. Like, oh, I haven't found my purpose yet. I haven't discovered my purpose. Like, nah, that's not fair.
But then, why do you think we have this warped sense of purpose being something that is not within our grasp? Like, why do you think that's the case, though?
Mm, I guess it's the same as with a lot of things that we can't like um quite put a finger on, like can't quite define, like, oh, the Lord works in mysterious ways, and then was just satisfied with that answer. Like I don't think we're challenged enough to dig deeper, think a bit think a bit more deeply. Like I feel like the same thing that's happened with purpose is the same thing that I've seen happen with God. Like we've put God too far away. You know what I mean? Like out of reach, like uh, you know, like God is this thing in the stars, and it's like, okay, to live out my purpose, I'm wishing on a star. Like, why do we have to be so far away? Why, why can't we go back to the idea that God is sitting inside of us? Um, that heaven is not just a place out there, but a place inside of ourselves as well. And so for me, when I think of God, I think of purpose. When I think of purpose, I think of God. They are the same thing. Like they're not, maybe not exactly the same thing, but those 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 they're for the most part
In some way, they
yeah,
intertwine.
for the most part they're interchangeable for
Yeah,
me, because I'm like,
yeah.
I wake up in the morning because of purpose, I wake up in the morning because of God, so
That's that is powerful.
yeah, like we
It's so true. Like wake up in the morning because of God. Wake up in the morning because of purpose.
yeah.
And I think God's uh I mean even it said this in the Bible. God has got plans to prosper us and not harm us. And I believe that part of those plans are your purpose, because
Mhm.
God doesn't put you on the planet for like and Dononatira, go figure it out type of vibe. He actually puts something into you, impresses that thing into you. And well on that note, you also say something that I love about TND, about Tisu Ngoda Dzacho.
Tisu Ngoda
And
Dzacho. We are the
yeah,
diamonds they speak of.
mm,
A tribe, no,
mm,
a tribe called TND. A tribe called
mm,
Tisu Ngoda Dzacho. A tribe called We
mm,
Are the Diamonds They Speak of. A tribe called I Matter, You Matter, We Matter. Not just to ourselves or each other, but ultimately to God. Because I believe
mm,
that what binds us to God, what when they say that we are made in the image of God, they're talking about that piece or portion of God's purpose that sits inside of each and every single one of us. That is our diamond. That is the diamond that we are meant to go inside of ourselves and define and share with the world.
mm.
Because
That going within yourself,
yeah,
inside of yourself, is powerful stuff, man.
yeah, everything we need is inside of
Mm,
us, and then we go out there and we do more and we build more with it. We build entire worlds with what we find
mm.
inside ourselves.
That's amazing. And I guess with all this purpose talk, uh, I'm curious. Like, I really want to know, and I guess people also fall. Like, the listeners definitely want to know your origin story. But before we get to that, like, what's your definition of a hero
Hmm.
off the top of your head?
It's the person who is courageous enough and
Mm,
willing to take on the journey of going inside of themselves, facing the demons, the evils, the enemies, the things inside of there, and coming out from there changed and willing and able to tell that story, to give
mm,
people the courage to also go in there and do the same work, because it's a hero's journey that I think we're all called to take but don't always
mm.
do it.
And I'm so in love with the concept of the hero's journey, and it's actually one of the things that I predicated this podcast on. So once we go inside ourselves, we come out changed, we return, tell those stories, aka bestow boons upon our fellow man.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
Mm, that's amazing. So how did you create your heroic identity?
Man, no. What happened with me?
Be-
I
Because I don't know the whole story, but from what I gathered from research, you've had a very unorthodox path. You went to uni
yeah.
and uh, you were not doing music, and it
No.
just shifted. But I want to let you tell that
All
story.
right.
Mm.
Grew up in Harare, Zimbabwe. Um,
H Town.
H Town.
Mm.
Um, uh, I guess a good student. I did a lot of sport. I did a lot of extracurricular activities. Um, like any good Zimbabwean child, I was expected to
Mm.
go to university and get a meaningful degree and make something of myself.
Mm.
I had this incredible passion for performing arts. I wanted to initially, my first love in like the creative space was acting. I wanted to be an actor.
Oof, man, you're talking to me, but we'll get to that. We'll get to that.
What I realized looking back now is that I actually didn't have the courage to jump off the cliff and really like make the necessary sacrifices to go on and be an actor. But I went off to
Dude, I
study.
resonated with you so much.
I went off to yeah, man. I went off to study a Bachelor of Commerce in Australia. While I was there, because my second love was like I never thought I'd be able to be a singer. I didn't think I had a good enough voice or the talent for it, and I didn't
Mm.
even grow up really like I would never call myself a hip hop head, but I grew up listening to a lot of Jay-Z. Um, but yeah, so I wanted to be a songwriter. That was my second thing other than acting. So I'd write a lot. And in the process of studying in inverted commas, I didn't do a lot of studying. Um, I was I was buying
Survival
like
semester.
I was buying songwriting books, like tons and tons of songwriting books. And I remember that I remember this one morning like waking up and I'm looking at the edge of my bed like where my books were piled up, and like the pile of books for songwriting and music business were like higher than the stack of books for what I was actually there to study. Um,
It's crazy. You're actually investing in you're actually tuning into that voice. I think that's when you began, I guess.
Yeah, man. And like what happened is this one time there was one of the books had a songwriting exercise about writing a hip hop verse. And so I started playing with that and I realized, whoa. And like, 'cause I was obsessed with story, I was like, yo, I can fit so much more story in the same amount of, space or time. And that's how I started writing hip hop. And at the time I was living with a bunch of boys from Botswana, and one guy in particular, his name is Mpo or Q, and he was like,
Shout out
yeah, man, shout out to Q, bro. Tena Tena boys, and he was
Tena boys.
Tena Tena, and like
Tena
he
one thing.
he would he would he just put me onto hip hop. He gave me like a crash course in hip hop, like the law, like all kinds of hip hop that I just never really know about. Like I was about like Jay-Z. That was my hip hop, right? I got heavily influenced by like Lupe Fiasco, Kanye West, a lot of Aussie hip hop like the Hilltop Hoods, um, Muffin Plutonic, and yeah, so that's kind of how the hip hop journey inside of things started. That's where Ten Diamond was born. Initially, it was just Diamond. Like my stage name was just Diamond, or my superhero name was just Diamond, right?
Super. Oh,
And
love it.
like I worked at this nightclub as like a promo boy. So I'd be on the corners just handing out flyers and trying to get people to come to the club. And what I do is like I'd be literally writing raps on the back of pieces of paper on the corner there. Um, I'd sing to girls as they walk past, and I'd be like rapping when like the dudes walk past. And eventually people started calling me like,
Now you suave,
yeah,
just
dude,
like your
I
character.
was
Good
on it.
job.
I was on it, bro.
Smooth as butter.
And then uh someone started calling me Tendai Diamond. And like for me, the writer in me was like, man, that doesn't really flow. And it became Ten Diamond because I wanted something that was close to my name, but still like a stage name. So, and then over time, I gave that its own meaning. I added the H for like to represent Harare because at the time I was far from home and I wanted to have something
Wow,
in there. Um,
that was well thought out.
yeah,
Love it.
man. So then Ten Diamond was born. Soon after I released my first mixtape, my first project called The Student of the Game, Higher Learning, SOTG1.
And dude, about that, I was gonna chime in, but I wanted you to finish.
Yeah,
But you said that music was you were not really a hip hop head. Like you kind of just leaned into it.
yeah,
But it's as you're talking, it's crazy because dude, your album, Student of the Game, Higher Learning, won Best Hip Hop Album at the 2010 NAMA Awards. And not only did you stop there, bro, but you also swooped in and scooped Best Hip Hop Artist Award in the same night. What? What? Man, you must have had on your utility belt, your cape and cow, man. You were geared up.
yeah. No, okay. Let me wait because I see. See, they have the information wrong there. So
Oh,
yeah, yeah.
uh-huh.
What won? Because I actually won the first. I was the first hip hop artist to win a NAMA, and it was for my grown up kid video, which was that would be it was 2 years after my first mixtape, my first project, Student of the Game one. Grown Up Kid was off my second project, Student of the Game 2, Boys Will Be Boys. And then the best
Right.
hip hop award that was the Zim Hip Hop Awards. And then
Ah, okay,
I
so
won
they got the information mixed up
yeah,
on
I
that.
won a Zima as well. Like I've won every I think yeah, a Zima, a Nama, a Zim Hip Hop Award. Well, a lot of Zim Hip Hop Awards, but yeah.
Kudos to you,
Thank you so much, bro. I appreciate that. And then yeah, I came back home soon after releasing my first project. And then like I was home for a bit. I had no idea what I was going to do. I was back home with no degree. I didn't finish my degree. Um, and 9 months later, I did an audition via Skype. This club in Singapore was looking for someone who could a performer and someone who could rap and sing. I auditioned for these guys. The owners were Chinese. I auditioned via Skype, and then a few weeks later, I was on a plane to
Wow.
Singapore.
Wow.
Yeah, and I
It's
spent
funny how things work.
dude, it's incredible. Like I spent
Uh,
10 months there performing 5 nights a week, 4 times a night. So by the time I left there, I'd done 800 shows.
Over 800, dude. Your creative resume is mighty long. That is amazing,
Yeah,
bro.
man. And while I was there is when I wrote my second project, the one that Grown Up Kid was on. So then I came back home again and um I think that was when like that was like the kickoff of like Ten Diamond. Like I started performing more. Started going to radio. I came back. I came back from Singapore with like a just a big like box. I think I must have printed out like 1,000 copies of my first mixtape, and I came back home and I started giving those out and just started pushing more.
Wow. Dude, there's a lot of things that I want to ask you, but I want to go a little bit back and start with
Cool.
the name, the origins of the name, because I've heard you on your series refer to, I think it was 10 and 10 Diamond, correct me if I'm wrong, as Bruce Wayne and Batman.
Yeah. So like
What was happening
like
here?
Tendai. I look at okay Tendai. I think of Tendai as like me. That's me, right? But as that's like Bruce Wayne and um Ten Diamond is like Batman. Like
Mm,
um the like a suit that I put on.
the persona,
So yeah, for like so if you notice like the last year and a half, like all my social media platforms, I changed them away from Ten Diamond.
mm,
And like I was kind of just in this space where I was like, man, I need to revisit and not rediscover, but revisit me, like my foundations. Like I feel like I'd been in the bat suit for so long that I didn't really have a good sense of myself and my foundations. And I set about on a mission to kind of get closer to what I believe were the missing parts of my foundation. And I kind of focus on three things, like um, rekindling friendships that I'd kind of let lapse with, like mostly like high school friends, and that my faith, rekindling my relationship with God, and then also like the third thing was like my father, like um, consciously and intentionally trying to like make up for a lot of lost time, because my journey or my choosing to be Ten Diamond and the path that I had taken, I think I look at it now as like in a lot of ways it was selfish the way I did it. Like I'm the oldest son in my family, and that comes with a
mm.
lot of inherent responsibility that I for the longest time ignored and denied.
I really feel that one
Yeah.
because
So
I'm
it's
the oldest as well.
yeah, man. So it's been a period of kind of like, okay, you know um, what did I leave behind? What do I need to get right? And it's only recently that I felt like, you know what, I have a good firm footing on who Tendai is, what Bruce Wayne is about, and what have you. Let me let him go back to like the mansion, like quote unquote, the Bruce Wayne Manor or whatever, and just do what he's doing. And I feel ready and I feel willing to let Batman or Ten Diamond go out there and do what Ten Diamond needs to do. Not and like I feel like I have a better understanding of I have a better understanding of Ten Diamond's place in my life, if that makes sense.
That makes absolute sense, bro.
Yeah.
So basically, I, I would say don't beat yourself up too much about it.
Oh, not at all, man.
You,
Like I'm way past that part. I was there for a
ah,
long time, but I'm way past it. Like Ten Diamond is there to protect Tendai. That's one thing I definitely understand. And at the same time, Tendai is there to strengthen and then facilitate and ensure that Ten Diamond can do the work that he needs to. And I'm speaking in third person about two people who I am, but which
that's some
which kind of makes me
you
wonder, like, who is the third person talking about these two people?
the it's just crazy that the the third person talking about this other two. It's like your consciousness has transcended those two that you can refer to them differently at the same time. That's so insane.
Yeah.
But it's amazing, and I also think that's really the hallmark of a true hero, and I think it's one of your superpowers. That the fact that you took a moment to pause and go fix that relationship with your father, your family, because you
Oh man,
felt like
everything
you.
is still a work in progress, but I'm
Yeah,
not where I was when I started, and I'm very happy for that.
yeah, and like you say, to us the tribe, it's all about progress,
Yeah, man. We are not
and
perfect people, but we are purpose people.
oh man, I was I was about to plug that. I love that. That's also one of my favorite lines. I've just got so many favorite things. I can't choose. Well,
Don't choose,
whiskers,
bro.
things
You
like
can
that.
have them all. Don't choose.
I can have them
Yeah,
all.
man.
Yeah, and that's so powerful. So now it makes sense why you decided to hang up the cape and cowl for a little bit to
Yeah.
strengthen that foundation, the core of Ten Diamonds,
Yeah,
aka Crime with the
I
Bat.
like man, I like Batman. I like Bruce Wayne because
Mm,
inside this superhero is a man.
mm,
Flesh and blood. Like people, uh, like it's a trend online these days to like make fun of Batman.
Oh yeah, we should definitely link some bad memes.
Breaks my heart, but but like that's I think that's what that which people make fun of is like that's his greatest power, that he's just a man, and I love that.
Mm,
So he's a man in a suit, man.
resourceful.
He's a dude in a suit, resourceful,
Disappearingness.
doing what he can with what he has where he is. Yeah, yeah, he's got a lot of money, but still he's applying himself.
Supplying
He's
himself,
applying
doing the
himself at a
thing.
high level.
Mm, he's vibrating at a higher
Yeah,
frequency.
man.
And
Oh,
it's crazy, but although Bruce Wayne, in your case, Tendai is just a man, the Bat, aka Ten Diamond, the one you've created, this alter ego, this superhero, is something that will actually live on
there we
forever.
go.
Because as Ten Diamond, bro, you've inspired so many, me included. This literally, Tendai, although he's just a man, he has made something that's immortal, and that being Ten Diamond, and the legacy that is going to live on long after your passing. And I think that's some powerful stuff.
That makes me very happy, man. That
Mm,
yeah, like I'm very proud of that. To be perfectly honest, like it's very comforting. Like, for a while there, when I was going through the period of like, I won't say rediscovery, but reconfiguring. Um, I kind of, I kind of beat myself up a lot, and I kind of felt like, man, what a waste of time. I wasted a lot of time. Like, what did I even do? But thankfully I managed to, well, like, yeah, not just not even, I don't even say I built myself back up. Like the amount of interactions I got to have with people who would just be like it started out like, where's the next piece of music? When come down, where's the music? And then more and more it turned into like just some really deep and meaningful conversations about the impact that I had had in people's lives, through Ten Diamond, and it just made me kind of stop and just build that appreciation and gratitude up, and yeah,
Facts, facts.
yeah,
And going back to what you said earlier, it's you decided to pursue this thing and go with it full force because you realized that you could fit stories in such a short period of time,
yeah,
impactful stories. And I also read, uh, again, correct me if this is wrong because this is the internet.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
That they
And the internet,
used,
internet is a liar
yeah,
sometimes.
yeah, and they got their facts out of whack. It's crazy. But I read somewhere you said that your music is inspired by your truth at the time.
Mm.
So, is that true?
Yeah, man. Like
Mm,
I, I don't know if I've used my music for the most part to just journal, to document what I feel at the time, what I believe at the time, who I am at the time, and like I can, man, I am so grateful for my catalog because I'm gonna be able to like my great 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 grandchildren are gonna be able to really get to a slice of who I am. I've never shied away from being,
man,
from being honest and being vulnerable and being open, and
mm,
the highs, the lows, that kind of thing. So it's been very autobiographical. I've never been one of those artists who's like, oh, what's in right now. I've never been able to do that. Like I've been,
it's all about living a legacy for you.
yeah. Well, I guess I've been selfishly just writing and making music for myself, in the sense of like, I just need to get this down. I just need to get this out, and not really thinking so much about, yo, what's gonna be a hit? What's the in sound right now? Like
Mm.
that's for me the most. That's been like the most fulfilling approach for me.
Man, let's just take a moment to let that sink in. Well, I need to let that sink in because it's so powerful. Man, documenting the journey for your legacy, for your grandkids. And now that I think about it, it's just so crazy that your children's children are gonna get a chance to know a bit about you at a personal level because you're
Yeah,
having these conversations, you're writing these stories, you're putting out this powerful, impactful content. They're gonna be listening to this conversation way in the future, and they're
yeah.
like, "Man, Grandpops was on some stuff, and we love it." And
They
you
might have to
just,
come and find you and be like, "Yo, can
mm,
you tell us some more? Like, what else?" Like, I look forward to stuff like that. I relish that kind of
mm,
like
mm.
that. I guess that picture, that purpose
Yeah,
paints for me.
and you know, you also like you just said, that they're gonna view this long after you're gone. They're gonna listen to this. They're gonna get inspired. And in one of your lives, again, referring to those, man, I should definitely link to those in the description because there's so many good. There's your stuff is just so good, and there's a
Thank
lot
you.
of it. And you said something about you're telling a story of how you had to get the leaves for your mom, for your family, for them to steam.
Yeah.
Kunatira. Oh, that word has just become my favorite word this year for those who don't know. Natira. But anyway, I'm going off topic. So, you said that I think a friend asked a question during the live about how do you know when your purpose is finished, and like I guess you don't know when you were
Yo,
plucking the
that
leaves.
was such a difficult one. Like it was very
Mm.
challenging, very grateful. But carry on, please. I'm listening.
But you gave a great answer because you said instead of plucking the leaves off one by one, you went to the trunk, got a glove, and you started just like sliding through the
Oh
branch,
yeah,
like
yeah, yeah. Like
getting
you can
many at a
always,
time.
you're constantly
Mm.
perfecting your approach to purpose. It's not so much about the purpose; it's
Exactly.
about the path and really
Mm.
refining the way that you walk it, the way that you express it, and the way that
Mm.
you, I don't like
Mm.
just express, but like to the way that you let it out as well. Like it's a constant perfecting of that. It
Mm.
almost becomes like a craft, like a daily craft, like a practice.
Exactly.
Purpose is
And
not
that
to.
becomes somebody else's tool.
There you
You know, they
go.
take it, they make it
Yeah,
better.
and they
And
and
just
they
like
take
we
it
were
another
talking about
step further.
purpose,
Yeah.
yeah, literally passing on the torch, and they run with it. They pass it on.
No, exactly.
So, I guess our biggest crime as people, as humanity, as TND, as people of purpose,
Hmm.
is do not, again, going back to what you said, do die empty. Don't die with that diamond
Yeah,
of
don't
purpose, your
die
dream
holding on to
with
any
it. Yeah.
potential. Let's try not
Because
to.
you don't want your purpose to be looking over your hospital bed with large, angry eyes, saying that I came to you.
Mm,
Only you could have given me life,
mm,
but now I must die with you.
mm.
Because you're selfish, you don't have the courage. Just put it out there and let somebody else run with it, perfect it, pass it on. Like you said, your grandkids, people listening to this, our families, I want to hear this conversation and just build upon,
Can I do something crazy
refine.
right now?
Yeah.
Uh, if my great grandchildren or great great grandchildren are listening to this right now, I just want to say what's up. You made it. We put this here for you.
You made it. You made it.
Well done.
That's crazy. Nah, yeah, I'm going to use this opportunity to say what's up to my grandkids too.
Yeah, please,
Dang.
bro.
Shout out to you. And if you guys are hearing this, be inspired.
It could be
Do not
Tino the
die.
fourth, because Tino Junior right now could be like Tino the fourth.
Who knows, bro?
Yeah,
Who
man.
knows? That's so true. So, after analyzing your journey in retrospect, would you do anything differently?
Absolutely not. That would scare me because like where would I end up? I wouldn't get to be right here, and I'm so grateful for where I am right here, right now. If I changed one thing, who knows where I would be? And I
Mm.
I'm grateful. I'm so grateful for my journey, man. Like I am so grateful for the person that I have become. I'm grateful for the person that I am becoming, and none of that would be possible without all the many many versions of me that I have been up to this
Mm.
point. So wouldn't change a thing.
That's incredible. That's incredible. Anyone you want to give a special shout out to? Anyone who's been really instrumental in your journey?
I don't know if they're gonna hear this, but my mom might. But I want to give a shout out to my mom, and I definitely want to give a shout out to my
Shout out to
dad.
Mama Diamond.
Yeah, I want to
Mm.
give a shout out to my dad. Between the two of them, like they're on like very different people, but they have definitely. I kind of walk a middle between them, and they have definitely shaped the person that I am and continue to try to grow into. I'd also like to
Mm.
give a big shout out to a tribe called TND, and I'm grateful to everyone who tunes into those Instagram lives. Like that's a blessing. It gives my purpose, my because I believe my purpose is to serve as a gentle reminder, a lasting reminder that purpose does in fact matter, that purpose does in fact prevail. So, all the people who show up give me an opportunity and a platform to express and live out my purpose in that small little way every day, Monday to Friday. So I'm grateful for them. Shout out to
Mm,
a tribe called TND.
powerful, man. I love that so much. One of your greatest superpowers.
Thank you, Rob.
And for people who haven't yet joined the tribe, because like you said before, we have this warped perception of purpose that is something that is so far away, unattainable.
Yeah.
What would you say to the person that doesn't would say to themselves, "Well, I really want to pursue my purpose, but I just don't know what it is. I don't know how to do. Where do I start?" What would you say to that person?
Hmm. Be still. Like, what is the picture you see of yourself 5, 10, 15, 20 years from now, whichever is clearer to you? And by clear, I don't mean the clear picture, but I mean like the feeling is clear, like, yeah, that's me,
Mm,
that's definitely me. What is that? And then work your way backwards. Why do you think that is that? And that, the answer to that why, that reason why you have that picture, that is where you can begin to define your purpose. Why do you want to do that thing that you see? Why do you want to become that person that you see yourself becoming? Why do you want to impact that future in the way that you see yourself impacting it? Answer that. And that's where you start. Just write it down. Okay, cool. That's your purpose. And then as you go along, you'll get better at defining it. You'll get better at putting the words together that say it or what have you. But just don't put too much pressure. You have a picture in your head, and purpose is painting that picture. So get it down.
mm. So get it done, write it down, and just run with it.
Hmm.
You'd say those are the crucial steps
Yeah.
for a person.
Get a first version down. Fail forward
Mm,
fast.
fail
The
forward.
harder part is figuring out the path or the mission, the gap between where you are and where you think you can end up. That tension is what you need to kind of, that's the real problem to solve. But put a stake in the ground, say, okay, cool, this is me, this is where I am, this is who I am, this is my purpose, this is what I've defined it as. My vision is all the way over there. How do I get there?
So it's basically a change and shift in mindset
Yeah.
and going after
And
it.
perspective.
Yeah. Perspective. That's your reality is actually shaped by perspective. And
Yeah.
because I love liking anime and superhero stuff,
Yeah.
when I think of the mindset that you have to get into, I again think of Avatar: The Last Airbender. I see, uh, Aang, because you say purpose paints pictures.
Hmm.
I see Aang as I think about Aang going into the avatar state,
Yeah.
that purpose state. I just equate it to that avatar state, your
Yeah,
avatar
that's
state,
purpose state, flow state. Yeah.
your flow state, and do the things, execute the mission. Just execute,
Yeah.
and that's a powerful, powerful thing. You also mentioned, dude, there's just so much. I don't even want to know where to start. But being an actor, that was your initial desire, and you successfully made the transition.
That was crazy that that even happened.
Shout out to you. And like your character Prince is suave, smooth as butter, and is the
Prince
hero who,
Charming, true to his name.
yeah,
Yeah.
Prince Charming, yeah, and he actually does get the girl at the end of the superhero movie.
Yeah.
Talk a bit about that. How was that experience? Have you acted before? I'm sure, right? This wasn't your.
It was my first feature film. I'd never done any
Mhm.
I'd never done a film before. I'd never done anything official before. At high school, I was like did lots of acting in drama and theater. In fact, by the time I left, I was head of drama. Um,
Ooh, nice.
but after that, like it was, every time opportunity came to do an audition for something, I'd jump at it, but I never landed anything substantial until one year. The producer, no, who reached out to me first? It was Tom. I was actually the first person cast in Cook Off.
Ooh,
Um,
nice.
yeah,
Early bird catches the worm, huh?
yeah, man, I read for it about a year before it actually, decided to get the green light, and then that was through Thomas Brickhill, the director and writer. And then when they decided to go ahead, Joe reached out to me and kind of said, you still trying to be a part of this? I was like, yeah, like I kind of put it away in the back of my head, like, this is probably not going to happen, like most of these auditions, but cool, I tried, right?
Mhm.
Um, and
And
what?
it's become a global phenomenon.
It's incredible. Like we shot it in 2017, and then 3 years later, Netflix.
Dude, I had my Polish friend sit in her apartment. I was like, we're watching this movie. Get the
Yeah.
popcorn. We're watching this. That it was powerful and I loved it so much.
Thank you, bro.
And I resonate more with your story because one of my goals, and I only had the courage at the beginning of lockdown last year to pursue this, is that I'm actively working towards becoming an actor. And for a long time, I was so scared. I didn't know where to begin.
Yeah.
So, for others, because you said you were in a similar position and then you took music, but then you now you're doing both. For others that have the same aspiration, could you tell us how you did it, how to do it? What is it that we need to do? How do we train ourselves? And what is just generally required to make it happen? Because I haven't been
I
in it.
I'm not even going to speak specifically to acting in all things, right? Initially,
Mhm.
you'll start out with passion, and that is good, but passion can also be like it just can be a gift and a curse. Whatever passion you have, right? Take it and apply it to your craft, your skill, whatever it is that you want to do, and raise your proficiency. Like get aim to raise your proficiency, fine tune your proficiency, get really, really good at whatever it is you're passionate about. Um,
Perfect the craft.
yeah, and one great measure of knowing whether you're as good as you feel or think you are is being able to monetize it, get to the place of profit, get from passion to profit, which is very, very hard in the creative industries. But again, I think money is a great scoreboard or a great real test of the metal of things. If you're just passionate and want to do it as a hobby for the love, for the culture, cool. Do that. Be honest with yourself and know that that's what you're doing. But if you're really trying to do it and make some progress and measure yourself, I think going from the what I call the path of passion and getting to the path of profit is great. But then even further than that, continue to like never stop working on raising your proficiency. But like even beyond the path of profit, you then want to kind of get to the path of or the pillar of purpose and kind of think be able to think, okay, I'm good at this, it's putting food on the table, how can I impact lives?
How can I
And
bless
so
others?
I guess that's like the
Right?
meta kind of explanation, but like at the core of it is hone your craft, get good at what you do. There's no substitute for excellence and becoming really good at what you do, and it'll give you the confidence to take the opportunities that come your way. It'll also open up more opportunities to come your way.
Mm. Perfecting the craft opens up more opportunities that will come your way. I love it, man. And people who are going to hear this who also have the same aspirations are going to become so motivated and inspired because I know I have not only just listening to your story but also when I again saw you in Cook Off
Mm.
and all the other sim actors and the entire team and how it became a global hit. You know, there's this feeling when you see your countryman or woman on global stages, it
Yeah.
gives you a sense of hope that it is possible for you too, you know. And I guess just to end it, man, just to wrap it up, what would you want the greatest takeaway for other young people, anyone really, young, old, whatever, and myself to, what would be the greatest takeaway from your past endeavors and currently your journey of becoming?
Oh, okay. When we put it in that context, I would want to say like try to know and see and understand that like the journey is the destination. Like the steps you take, like the past has already happened, but you know it has lessons for you. But up ahead, there's still potential blessings for you. Don't ever think it's too early. Don't ever think it's too late. Like as long as there's air in your lungs, there's time on your clock, and it's on
As
us
long as
to
there's air in your lungs.
yeah, it's on us to make the most of that. Whatever most means to you, make the most of that time that you have. Yeah.
I love it, man. And thank you so much for sharing your origin story, for being open, and for just wanting to be on a podcast that is still growing. I am grateful.
Well, I look forward to being invited back once it's like this major, massive podcast.
Dude, I'll- Definitely.
Yeah.
And we'll set a date as soon as we get off
My
of
great
this
great
call.
great grandchildren need to be able to find this, so you need to blow up.
Yeah, must. We're gonna
Yeah,
take it. We're gonna run with it.
yeah.
We're not gonna shy away from it. We're just gonna continue honing the craft, like you said, bro.
Brilliant, man.
Mm.
But wait! There's more!
Really? There's more? No way. Of course there's more.
So, to top it all off, here is one of my many favorite pieces recited by Tehn Diamond himself. I absolutely loved this one, and it's without a doubt in my mind that you guys are definitely gonna like this one too. So, enjoy it.
For the last 2,000 years, we've spent this time searching within ourselves, within our families, our communities, our countries, and even as far as searching the stars themselves for answers. And sometimes we've come close, for a while, only to stray and forget what we even started searching for to begin with. And so life has gone on, for the most part devoid of meaning. We wake up, we wash, we eat, we work, we pay bills, we drink, we come home, we argue, we sleep, we wake up, repeat. And every now and again, some of us even follow our hearts and chase our dreams, if we're crazy enough to seek out the life we actually desire.
That's about it. That's about it for this powerful and impactful conversation with Tehn Diamond. Honestly, if this doesn't make you want to become a superhero, then I don't know what will. Anyway, thank you all for listening. And as always, guys, please share this on Instagram. Get in touch with us because we really, really want to hear what you guys thought about the episode. Tag the episode at Superhero Origin Stories and Tehn Diamond, the voice you just heard, at Tehn Diamond on Instagram. I'll also be sure to include all the links to his other social media and his content and the links in the description below. And also please follow us on all our social media and streaming platforms. I'll also include those in the description below. And that's it for now. Can't wait to talk to you guys in the next one.